Hello everybody out there, and welcome back here with the future once again. And I'm going to start this one off a little bit different because I just pulled into my house from work and none other than the package has arrived. The package that I'm going to unbox on this next video. And I'm going to unbox 5 different Hasbro 1990s action figures. I'll tell you what waves and what series is when we get into it. But the bottom line is, I never had any of these figures when I was a kid. I did not have the 2 tag teams and the solo figure here. I did not have, and we'll check them out when I do the unboxing. But yeah, I am really pumped up about opening this up, and that's why when I saw the box, I just had to start the video right now. Make it a little bit different. I want to thank JS Warrior. He's the man on Instagram when it comes to buying Hasbros and whatnot. He always has awesome selections of Hasbros and Galoobs and other figures. So I suggest checking him out. I will put his Instagram tag down below, and you can go check him out and see if he has anything that you might need in the Hasbro world or anything else. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed lately, dropped any comments, left any feedback. I really appreciate all the support here on my channel. And now, I might as well just record myself walking right up there and grabbing the box. So let's do it. And oh, there it is. It's the box. And I don't really want to show my address on there. So yeah, I have it. These have the Hasbros inside. So now we're going to take it inside, and I'm going to bust them open, and we're going to do a badass 1990s WWF Hasbro action figure unboxing. Let's do it. Okay, so I have the box in here from outside, and I'm actually going to open this up off air, and then we'll get back to what's inside. But I have some stuff sitting around here before we do that. Obviously, I got my box full of my childhood Hasbro collection. Here are the 2 that I picked up from JS Warrior that I never had in my collection as a kid. I could never find them. That is the Texas Tornado Kerry Von Erich and Greg the Hammer Valentine. And I did a opening and review or an unboxing and review, excuse me, when I picked these guys up. So make sure you go back in my videos a couple of videos ago and check that out. But now I have a box full. There should be 5 figures in here. 5 figures that I have wanted since I was a kid. These came out in 1991 and 1992 respectively. One was part of Series 2, and the 2 tag teams in here, because there's 5 figures and 4 of them are two parts of tag teams. So those come from 1992 in the second wave of tag teams that Hasbro released, kind of like a subset. They did tag teams as well as singles. They did 2 waves and 5 tag teams. But the only 2 teams in that wave were the Nasties and L.O.D. And supposedly I have them now in here. And the other one is the green suit DiBiase that I hope is in here. So now let me go off air, bust this open. I've never held any of them in my hand, and I am anticipating this big time. So yeah, bear with me. I'll bust this open, and we'll check the figures out. Okay, so here they are. They're all individually wrapped in this paper. I busted open the box. It wasn't too hard to bust open. Back here, I still got Greg and the Tornado. I have some other figures out too to compare as well that I've always wanted to see them next to. The first one here, oh wow, and he's in great shape too, it looks like. It is the green suit $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Of course, no $1 Million belt. But I'm all about getting the accessories over the, belt. And look at that right leg looks so much different shade of green over the camera than the other. Like, I don't know what that is, but like it doesn't come off like that as bad when you're looking at it, in real time. But man, it's a lot darker green on that one leg that's used for that stomp action. And I've never really noticed that before. But this is a great DiBiase. I always loved the green suit and always wanted my dad to get this for me. But the bottom line is I already had a suited DiBiase. And let's just move this box out of the way. for a comparison here, here is the Series 1 black suit Ted DiBiase. Of course, I broke the $1 million belt and ended up losing it. But of course, I'm all about just getting the figures right now. The accessories will come later. But it's cool to see him, and kind of strange too that they released him in a suit in Series 1 and you got him in a different suit in Series 2. Maybe they could have gave us a tights version in Series 2, but I don't know. I really dig, though, the green suit DiBiase. Different type of figure than the first. Just, you know, the actions are different. You know, DiBiase had his punch there that you could pull back, and this one had the, I don't know, $1 million stomp or whatever they would call it. One other thing, though, that I forgot to mention in the beginning of this vid, in my collection, not only do I have all my loose childhood Hasbros and the 2 new ones I picked up, not only that, but, hold on a second here, I'm having trouble getting Ted 2 to stand up here. You know, it's hard to stand up him, so sorry. But not only do I have my loose ones, and I'll work on him in a second, but I have this mint on card Papa Shango Hasbro that I won from HBK Hasbros, HBK_Hasbros on Instagram. He did a giveaway and I entered it and ended up winning this mint on card one. I did the unboxing and review over this too, but look at the back art on these packages. I love having a card representation for videos like this. If you've never saw one mint on card, let's see, any of the figures in this? No, not even DiBiase on there, but I have all of those figures right there on the back. I think, except the Hogan with no shirt, which I know I used to have. I mentioned that in my last video, but look how they did the cartoonish designs for the actions. You had your bio cards that came with them. So all these figures would have been with the blue backgrounds because they were all released before they changed the background color in Series 7 to yellow instead of blue. But this thing is in a Zolo World case, so I'm not going to bust them out of there. Great figure, mint on card, Papa Shango, to show you guys what that looks like. But here he is in all his glory. And man, he is hard. Let me just tell you, one thing about this DiBiase is he's not easy to get to stand up. Like right there off the bat, I did have him standing. I'm going to have to kind of prop him right now or something. But off the bat there, I stood him right up. But there we go. You kind of just got to balance him right. But, you know, they compare pretty cool. It's cool to see, you know, both versions there. And then they did release a third version, which I have. So I have now all 3 versions. This was Ted in his wrestling gear. Look how much bigger he was. They used the Hulk Hogan, shirtless Hulk Hogan body. So, a lot taller and bigger than his first 2 Inceptions there. The suits, and then you have the tights only DiBiase. Of course, the tights, though, had a nice touch with the $1 million, or with the $sign on the side. $1 Million Man's basically it was his symbol, as he is the $1 Million Man, and everybody has a price. But yeah, it's cool to see, you know, all 3 versions of the Hasbro DiBiases in a line there, and it's awesome to have the green Ted that I never had before from Series 2. So yeah, I think I might have all of the Series 2 figures now that I have this Ted, but I'm going to have to check it out. I think he was the only one I might have been missing from Series 2. Just because, you know, my dad wasn't too keen on picking up a green suit DiBiase when I already had the black suit DiBiase, and they look so similar. To tell you the truth, I don't think I even knew as a kid they had different actions. I thought he was just a complete repaint, but he's not. You know, he's a different, the tooling's different on this one. The mold, the action and everything is different than the first. Look at those head sculpts and see if they are the same. Did they just swap the head out? Let's see. I don't know. I think the heads even look a little bit different. There's that Ted. And there's that Ted. So I don't know. Could be the same head, but just the way the hair's painted and stuff look different. But I don't know. A lot darker skin on this one too than the other. So
there's $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, all 3 versions. We're going to set them to the side over here. And then next, now Ted's standing up without any problem, so I got him in the right position. Like, you have to get him in the right position to stand up, or he's not standing up. So we'll put them over there to the left. And now let's open up the Nasty Boys. This is awesome, because I've wanted these guys for my entire life. And wow, finally do I have the Nasty Boys. A little bit nicked up on the glasses. Some scuffs on them, but that's okay. If I ever get a better one, I can get rid of this one and replace it in my collection. But for now, I think he's just amazing. He would have been scuffed up, marked up anyway if I was playing with him. He's got the classic Nasty Boy shirt. That's one of the main things that I wanted to be intact, and it looks like the shirt is pretty good. Not a lot of scuffs on the legs or anything either. You can tell he was played with, though. He's got some missing paint there. You see, they did not paint the wrist tape. They were notorious for that. I don't know, cost-cutting measures, they wouldn't paint the wrist tapes. I don't know what that was all about, but his other... So both of the elbow pads, unless they were made like that... Oh, they're just open like that. So now I see they're not missing paint, so that's cool. The way he's got his arm there, you can't really tell, but you can tell from the top that that is an open elbow pad on the inside of the arm, even on this one. So, very cool how they did that. Had me almost fooled. But then, you know, you got the classic mohawk there, the blonde mohawk here. And, of course, this is Brian Knobbs of the Nasty Boys. And, man, I've always wanted these guys as a tag team. He had the classic wrist punch action. A little loose on the arm over here, but yet again, it still works. And like I said, I knew they weren't flawless when I got them, but I'm really happy that I have them finally in the collection. So let's put him back here so we can compare him with Jerry Sags, his tag team partner, Knobbs and Sags. And here is Jerry Sags, who didn't last as long as Knobbs. Knobbs went on to be in the hardcore division and whatnot. Knobbs with a little bit of paint scuff up here on his hair. And on the glasses too, it looks like the glasses had a problem with paint. But the overall body, legs, and everything on this, the paint is flawless. And man, I love this guy. He looks great. He has the double arm splash action here, or whatever you call, or like, I don't know, forearm elbow smash action. I can't really get it to do it. Let's see if I can use my other hand. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand sometimes, but let's see if I can get it and do it. So he's got his double arm slam. Oh, a little broke because he wants to go back on his arms when I do that. But yeah, the actions work. That's the thing I like, is having the actions work too. So Knobbs and Sags, both with working actions. Both with a little scuff on the glasses, and that's about it. So man, they were worth it. I think they were the most expensive pair out of these two tag teams that are coming up here. But yeah, the Nasty Boys, Knobbs and Sags. We are the Nasty Boys. They had their manager, Jimmy Hart, as well, until they went on their face turn. And there was a team that I did want to put these guys up into comparison to. And they had a lot of battles against each other for the belts and whatnot. You had Typhoon and Earthquake, who formed the Natural Disasters. And there we go, like a classic shot that you would see like coming up before the match, or maybe in a magazine there. But you got the Nasty Boys going to take on the Natural Disasters for tag team titles, for the WWF tag team titles. And one thing I've heard on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast is Brian Myers especially cannot figure out why they have a blue and red singlet. Well, actually, for the first few weeks, they did wear blue and red. Quake did not change his. I guess maybe the Typhoon attire was made beforehand and they did not have the matching attire for Quake till later on, and thought that'd be a good idea if they matched. But if you go back and find their first few matches, at least their first one that they had together, you had the Quake singlet just like this, and Typhoon had the singlet just like this. So if they watch this, I just wanted to kind of shout that out for anybody who heard that and kind of clear it up, that they actually did wrestle in that attire. So that'd be early natural disasters. I never really had it make a difference. Brian Myers said he didn't give them as much as a push because they weren't matched. But in my opinion, the natural disasters were badass, and I used them as a tag team all the time, and they were tag champs and whatnot in my fed. But if I would have had the Nasty Boys, this would have been one hell of a feud here, and I think the Nasties probably would have ended up knocking them off for sure. So the Street Punks, that's what they kind of looked like. You know, very Teenage Mutant, very like Bebop Rocksteady like the Nasty Boys were, in my opinion. I'm a big Turtles fan, and that's kind of what they remind me of, like the human versions of them or something. And then you have, you know, Quake and Typhoon there. So now we have one more team to open up. And going way back, if anybody remembers the Nasty Boys, Knobs and Sags, man, they were in the AWA on ESPN that they used to have. I remember watching them on there against, I think the Midnight Rockers had a feud with them that ended up becoming the Rockers. So we'll get that out of the way. And more bubbles. These are kind of all popped, though. Ooh, disappointed in you, JS. Yeah, like I said, JS Warrior, I can't, you know, praise him enough. He hooks me up. There's been a time I even got, you know, a little upset about a few things, and he's always been cool about it and ended up giving me a good deal. So, you know, I got to give props to a guy like that. He's a stand-up guy when it comes to selling figs, and if you hit him up on his Instagram tag down below, I will put his tag down there so you can go check him out on Instagram and see if he has any Hasbros that you need to fill out your childhood collection like I am. I could have got brand new ones, but man, this is a childhood collection. Never wanted to get rid of it. The character that comes with them, with the scuffs and everything that they've played with, is just, it's sentimental to my heart. And I have kind of a, you know, sentimental attachment to these figures, and I'll never get rid of them. This will always be my collection. If I get other figures to update it, that's fine. But the originals, I definitely would never sell off of mine. Maybe like the DiBiase, since it's not original. If I get another one, that one might go. But the originals that I've always had, hell no. So man, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures that I've added lately to my childhood collection that, you know, I never, you know, the disbursements on these guys had a lot to do with me not being able to find these guys, because my dad would even tell you that he tried to pick up every single figure that he ever could find, you know. So it was really hard. So I got Valentine, Tornado. I'm just going to leave these guys out there just for the atmosphere. But next, my favorite tag team, probably, they're definitely in my top 5 tag teams, if not my first. They're probably my top tag team of all time, because when I was about 10 years old, in 1992, we went to a house show in Springfield, Illinois, and Legion of Doom was on there. I bought the Legion of Doom shirt. Wish I still had it to this day. The authentic, the reddish orange. I always called this like reddish orange, but I must be colorblind because people call it red, that they put them in. But that was the color of the shirt. But here we go. And the one thing I wanted to see, we got 1, 2 there in the front. Not too bad. Just 2 missing spikes is all I have for. That's a big problem there, is missing spikes. He's got a little bit of scuff on the forehead. See if I can fix real quick. But yeah, missing spikes on L.O.D. is one of the things that people look out for and don't want. And only having 2 broke spikes, because it notoriously happened, good deal. What I never noticed about the L.O.D. is just having a straight red stripe down the side, and they don't really have their actual logo that they had. But the boots are right on, because everybody knew they were in like black and silver and more rough colors. And when they came to the WWF, Vince threw them in this orangish red, and it's obviously, like, this is obviously red here. So I don't know, I always thought the other thing, but like I said, it's not too fun, you know, when you're a bit colorblind. There's times that I'll say things are blue and people will say they're different color or whatnot. That's close. But the L.O.D, so shoulder pads and all, and this is Hawk from L.O.D, and man, his hair looks good. Paint apps are all there on his hair. Hawk had less black hair than this, I think, though. And the paint is all there on his face. That little scuff on his head, I was able to rub a little bit of that. Probably could rub more of that out if I really, really tried. It don't look too bad there. Now it looks like I got even more of it off this. I'm going to work on that. But the left arm seems to be a bit loose. The right arm, not too much better, but it has a little bit more stiffness and staying power than the other one does. Hawk would have been coming off with that clothesline, and he was a jumper, obviously, with that jumper action. And here I go. Oh, that didn't work out too good. Let's try it. I don't want to break another spike. But there we go. Kind of get a little bit of a idea what he did. He did pretty good there. But there he is, always one of them all my life. These guys would have reigned supreme over my tag team division in the Fig Fed for sure. Man, I like the face on Hawk and everything. That's a good likeness. You know, this is back before they had like real skin. And they were just, you know, illustrating these and bringing them to life. So, cool figure, man. Just can't stop, you know, spinning them around checking this guy out. I always wondered how the spikes would look on him for play. And it looks like he could be able to play pretty good with the spikes because they didn't put him all the way out. The points were kind of taken off. They were shortened up a lot from what they really were. So you could actually play with these guys. But it looks like only 2 spikes on the pads missing right there. Not too bad. But let's check out Hawk's tag team partner from the Road Warriors, aka the Legion of Doom, as they started becoming mainly solely called in World Wrestling Federation when they came in 1990. And here is Animal, and he's only got 2 spikes missing as well, kind of in the same place there, so that had a problem with the shoulders for sure, breaking. But man, overall he looks amazing. Look at the paint on the face. Wow, he's got the classic spider there in the head, the mohawk. You know, Hawk had his cut so he could look like he was just, you could take him and just plug his hair right in, you know, into his head. So that's how they came up, Hawk came up with that idea where it looked like you could plug in, they could plug each other in. He had hair where he didn't have hair, and that's really cool, as it's real evident here on the figures. Man, these guys are awesome. And he had that power slam action. Animal did. If I can get this thing to do it. Let's see here. So, yep, he's got the action for sure. There we go. Pull him out of the head. But yeah, he goes up and down. You put your guy up there on his hands and just let him go like a power slam or gorilla press slam action, kind of like the original Hogan had. But man, this Animal, you know, he'd be holding the guy up for the Doomsday device, so it was perfect with his arms that way. And like I said, the tights, I don't ever remember them just a straight solid stripe down the side, usually like a design of some sort. But you can see all of the, I don't know how, that's not really going to come over the camera, but you got your copyright and patents from Hasbro and whatnot down there. Man, this guy is, I love these guys. These might be my favorite Hasbros. The Legion of freaking Doom. So now I have Hawk and Animal in my collection, respectively here. L.O.D. And they would have definitely been taken on all comers. One team I always wanted to see them against when I was a kid, or have them go against, was none other than the team that a lot of people said were a carbon copy of them. I kind of say that they did, you know, take a lot from them, but they were their own kind of team. They worked more like wrestlers than power team. And that was, there they are, the Demolition. Axe, Smash, and Crush there. And then you have Hawk and Animal, Legion Team. You see the similarities, the paint on the faces, the studs, where they had the shoulder pads and all that. But I think Vince, you know, he got the real deal and he kind of just phased out. And that would have been, they had that little Survivor Series match where they were on the perfect team, and that's cool because I can make that team now. Actually, I've always wanted to do that since a kid. That's one of my favorite Survivor Series matches for some reason. I think it's because of one of the first Survivor Series that I, you know, ever got to see. Right after it aired, I used to get VHS tapes that a guy taped on satellite for my dad at work. That's how far back we're going. You'd actually pay the guy
get these tapes that we could watch. So, good old original gigantic satellite days. I'm looking for Mr. Perfect and Warrior here, and we can do the whole Survivor Series pose down. And there's the original Warrior. We'll just put him down there, since I'm not going to dig around forever, although I like Warrior too. We'll put him over there with that'd be his team, the Warriors. And it's kind of cool because you have the Ultimate Warrior, Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado, which they called the modern day Warrior, and then you had the Road Warriors, which they were calling Legion of Doom, all together on a team. So that was kind of cool. I think that's why it's one of my favorite Survivor Series matches. And then you had the Perfect Team, and you had Mr. Perfect here along with all three members of Demolition, Axe, Smash, and Crush. And like I said, one of my favorite Survivor Series matches of all time from 1990. And love it. I'm loving these figures. And there, we'll put Tornado back in the back. But yeah, look at that. What a deal here. We have the Survivor Series match ready to go and booked. So yeah, I just had to get that down. That's pretty cool. That's Series 1 Warrior, by the way, that we haven't seen yet. And I think it's Series 6 or 5. I can't really remember right off the top of my head of the second version of Mr. Perfect here. So excuse me. But this one was great because he had, the original one was just solid yellow, had no Mr. P. This one had the legit singlet that he always wore with the Mr. P. This is the only one I had in the collection. I don't even care about having that other yellow singlet one. That's how I'm in my collection too. I want the figures. If I have a variant of them, I'm good. Like, I don't need the yellow lesser version of Perfect. I've got a Mr. Perfect. So that's how I am. And I was kind of like that too when I was a kid. But I always wanted this green DiBiase. But yeah, there it is, guys. The look at my newest figures. Let's get them all up here. That I added to my overall collection for my loose WWF childhood Hasbros. One of my favorite action figure lines of all time, if not my all-time favorite. I mean, you got to put other toy lines like He-Man and stuff like that in it, but I think my wrestling figures, to me as a kid, were my favorite figures of all time. They got the most play, and they lasted the longest in my collection as a, something I was, actively still playing with. But we're going to put them all up here. But yeah, nice look here at a bunch of Hasbros. 6 new ones here from JS lately. But yeah, guys, I thank everybody for tuning in and checking this out. I hope everybody liked this unboxing and review of the 1992 Legion of Doom and Nasty Boys Series 2 Tag Team action figures and the Series 2 $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase in the green suit action figure. So yeah, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed this. And until next time, guys, I hope everybody has a great time at whatever you're doing. You're collecting or whatever, because this is a weird time with all this rioting, looting going on, the protests, the whole coronavirus thing. So just do something and have fun, guys, and have fun at doing it. It's the small thing in life, small things in life that count, excuse me. But yeah, guys, until next time, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment down below, give me a like if you like what you saw. Like I said, I appreciate all the support here on my channel, all the new subscribers and everybody that leaves comments and whatnot. And I hope to update my collection soon with more Hasbros. I got a lot more to get, actually, that I do not have. So when I get them, I will be updating everybody. And until then, a huge score today. And I want to say to everybody out there, keep your head up, keep collecting, and as always, till next time, peace out.